Hello again. So, today is the 24th of March, and last night the UK government announced its lockdown, or version of it. And it's hard to describe how that feels. It's something that no one in this country has experienced, really. The few who are left who remember the war probably remember to a degree the kind of lockdowns that were enforced during perhaps the Blitz. But that was because people were raining bombs on your head. It wasn't an invisible threat. It was people were trying to bomb you out of your houses. And it's hard. It's hard to really grasp how this will change life in this country. Now, it is temporary. Of course it's temporary. It has to be. Pandemics end. They always end. They do. That's how it works. And mostly what happens is the pathogen mutates itself out of being a danger or goes away to some other degree. And yes, it'll probably happen again. But at this level doesn't seem to happen that often. The last time it happened, certainly here and probably in most places, was 1918, a Spanish flu. And life was very different then, not least because there was a war. But I guess yesterday's announcements don't really make a huge deal of difference to what we were already doing, albeit for the short time that we were doing it. We can still go out and run, which is important to both my wife and I, because much as I don't particularly like running, it's my main form of exercise. But technically we're only supposed to go out once a day, unless it's for food. And normally we would walk, at least in the morning or evening, and sometimes both, just to get more fresh air and sunlight. Now we're fortunate enough we can go outside into the garden, but not everyone can do that. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit scared. I'm very apprehensive. It's the tighter the lockdown becomes, then the more the industry I work in becomes affected. It's tied to hospitality, and there isn't any now, for good reason. You know, it's not for fun. It's nobody wants this, but that definitely makes me very concerned about the future, and we will be paying for this for a very long time, in one form or another. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to put that into words and to even quantify it. I'm not going to try. I've got no idea. I'm no expert. So yeah, so my anxiety levels are pretty high. I've been awake since quite early. I've been sleeping quite lightly anyway, and a combination of my wife knocking a water bottle off the bedside table and my insides deciding I needed to head to the bathroom woke me up pretty early, before dawn, and I've been awake ever since, which isn't great because that doesn't really help with anxiety. Yeah, I sent an email to my dad last night. He's ill, not with coronavirus. He's had bladder cancer, which he was apparently in remission from until they discovered he has myeloma, which is a blood cancer, and he's having chemotherapy. And not that long ago, he was in hospital with pneumonia and blood clots on the lungs, which were kind of a result of the starting the chemotherapy. And my stepmother is over 80, and she had throat and mouth cancer a couple of years ago, and she's still recovering. So they're pretty vulnerable, and they're quite a long way away. I'm trying to convince him to use, he has an iPad, and I'm trying to convince him to use WhatsApp or something to have video calls, but yeah, that's a worry, and one that I'm sure a lot of people share, and I know a lot of people share, because you can't do anything. You feel pretty helpless, pretty powerless. I couldn't actually stand to listen to Boris Johnson's address to the nation last night. Not because I dislike Boris. I do. I think he's a bit of a knob. Although, in fairness, he's probably doing as good a job as anyone can right now. But I need to absorb these things in my own time, and my wife wanted to watch it, so I found a recording of a thunderstorm on Spotify and listened to that whilst reading a book, or trying to read a book. I struggled to concentrate. Yeah. I mean, I haven't really got anything else to say today. It's apart from, I know I'm not alone in feeling scared. I know that. And I don't mind admitting it. But we have to remember, if we all play our part, it will be over quicker, hopefully. And there's a phenomenal amount of work going on behind the scenes. Huge numbers of teams working on vaccines and drugs. Right now, my PC is running simulations and calculations, hopefully on one of the coronavirus projects for folding at home, which is now more powerful than the 7 biggest supercomputers in the world, trying to find avenues for research and drugs that could help with this, to lessen the impact until a vaccine is ready in, I don't know, a year's time or whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else you can do, is there? Yeah, I think very soon people will start feeling the pinch financially, and for now we're probably okay, but there's a limit to what we can withstand as well. And when that point comes, if it comes, that will be very scary indeed. Not a lot I can do about it. Not a lot anyone can do about it, except play our part. Stay at home. Don't be an arse. Don't go outside. Don't congregate with people. This isn't just, people keep saying, oh, it's just a cold, it's just a cold. Yeah, for a lot of people, the symptoms are very mild. You might not even get symptoms. That's the problem. Asymptomatic carriers. As many as 30% of infections, 30% of infections, maybe more, never show any symptoms, but you're generating the virus and spreading it around. And a lot more people have very mild symptoms that might only be like a mild cold or maybe a little bit worse than that. But a friend of a friend actually has diagnosed coronavirus, and he posts updates daily on his Facebook page, and our friend then sends them to us on WhatsApp. And it's not funny. It's not pleasant. I mean, yes, within 5 days he personally was over the worst, but he's still very weak. He's still struggling. He's still wheezing. And he said those first 4 days were shocking, absolutely horrific. And it's not just a cold. And yes, it's short term for most of us. Those of us who are younger or healthier or whatever, it probably is not going to do you long-term damage, most likely. And yes, you'll get over it. But it's the fact that if you spread it around, you're going to harm potentially people you love and care for, and people that other people love and care for. That's pretty fucking selfish, isn't it? So, sorry, I shouldn't be swearing. I promised myself I wouldn't swear in these videos, but I'm not really going to edit them largely. So, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I think that's all I want to say today. I don't know how often I'll post these. No one's even watching them, but I might do one every day. I might do one every couple of days, just however the mood takes me. But maybe I'll end with a bit of good news. It seems that Germany, whose response was probably the best approach so far, their infection curve is flattening out. According to, I think it's bing.com/coronavirus or something like that. They have a tracker. And I think they're close to 30,000 active cases, but their death rate is incredibly low. And fairly soon their recovery curve should start to shoot up, which will match, albeit with a lag, the infection curve. And I think the UK's will soon start to follow, because we're at the point in the lag behind infections where the infections started to shoot up exponentially, and the recovery curve should follow, but with that lag of 10 or 11 days. I hope. So yeah, so maybe there's a bit of good news there. And even Italy's new infection rate is slowing. So anyway, that'll do for now. Look after yourselves, stay safe, and try and be decent to one another. If you can, drop a message to a friend or a family, maybe a video call or just a phone call, even just a text or something to let them know you're thinking about them. Social isolation is important for this, but what we mean is physical social isolation. What you mustn't have is mental social isolation, because otherwise this is going to lead to a mental health crisis. And well, let's not go there. That's entirely avoidable. So I'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye bye.